Christmas morning, 3 empty bedrooms told me everything I needed to know about 25 years of sacrifice. My name is Charles Reynolds, and I raised 3 kids who just erased me from their lives. While I was sleeping, my successful adult children, Michael, Sarah, and David, had slipped away to Switzerland. No goodbye, no explanation, just empty rooms where Christmas morning hugs should have been. The presents I'd saved 3 months to buy sat untouched under our $12 plastic tree. Their designer luggage was gone. Their shame about their janitor father had finally won. But what they didn't know was that their embarrassing old man had been building something in the shadows for 5 years, something that would turn their world completely upside down. If you're watching this, please subscribe and let me know where you are watching from, because this story is about to show you why you should never underestimate the people who raised you. Let me take you back 25 years. I was 37 when my wife Linda walked out on us. Michael was 3, Sarah was 1, and David was just 6 months old. She left a note saying motherhood wasn't her calling and disappeared to California with her yoga instructor. I made a choice that morning. No remarriage, no distractions, everything for my kids. I was an automotive engineer at Ford's Ohio plant, making $68,000 a year. Good money, stable future. Then 2008 hit like a freight train. Plant closure, pension gone, savings decimated, but my kids still needed college. So I took whatever work paid. Night janitor at Riverside Mall. 60-hour weeks, $11 an hour. I'd drive home at 6 a.m., make breakfast, get them ready for school, sleep 4 hours, then do it all again. The math was brutal, but simple. Michael's Ohio State tuition, $42,000. Sarah's Northwestern journalism program, $58,000. David's pre-med track, $73,000. Total investment in their futures, $173,000 of pure sacrifice. I kept every receipt, every loan document, every scholarship rejection letter they never saw. They graduated debt-free while I drove the same 2003 Honda Civic for 15 years. Somewhere around 2019, things started changing. Michael landed his investment banking job at $65,000 starting salary. Sarah got hired at a Chicago marketing firm making $52,000. David was accepted to medical school. Their success was everything I'd dreamed of, but their attitude toward me started shifting. Dad, maybe don't mention the janitorial thing when my friends come over. That was Michael in 2020. Could you park around the corner when you pick me up? The Honda kind of stands out here. That was Sarah in 2021. By 2022, their visits became shorter, their conversations more distant, their embarrassment more obvious. Last Christmas, I overheard Sarah on the phone with her new husband. Dad's doing fine, still working nights. It's temporary. Temporary. After 14 years, this year felt different from the start. Michael had just gotten promoted to senior analyst. Sarah's marketing campaign had won some industry award. David was accepted to Cleveland Clinic's residency program. Their success was genuine. Their pride in me had vanished completely. The signs were there all December. Hushed phone conversations that stopped when I entered rooms. Awkward silences when I mentioned Christmas plans. Quick glances between them that I pretended not to notice. December 20th, I found a printout on Sarah's old desk. Swiss resort booking confirmations. The Calm Hotel in St. Moritz. 7 nights. 3 premium suites. Total cost, $16,800. My heart stopped. Not because of the money, because my name wasn't anywhere on those pages. I said nothing. I waited. I hoped I was wrong. Christmas Eve dinner felt like a funeral. They picked at my homemade lasagna, the same recipe I'd made every Christmas for 2 decades. Michael kept checking his phone. Sarah seemed anxious. David wouldn't make eye contact. So, what time should we start opening presents tomorrow? I asked. Actually, Dad, Michael said carefully, we might sleep in. Long week, you know. I knew. I'd always known. That night, I heard suitcases rolling across hardwood floors, whispered conversations in the hallway, car doors closing softly at 3 a.m. When I woke up Christmas morning, the silence was deafening. 3 beds, perfectly made. 3 goodbye notes, identically vague. Dad, had to leave early for work stuff. We'll call you soon. M. Pop. Emergency came up. Love you. S. Dad. Sorry, got called in. Merry Christmas. D. Work emergency. On Christmas Day, in Switzerland, I sat in my kitchen surrounded by unopened presents, finally understanding the truth. My successful children were ashamed of me. Their janitor father was an embarrassment to their new lives. I was a secret they kept from their professional friends. 25 years of sacrifice had earned me abandonment. But here's what Michael, Sarah, and David had never bothered to learn about their old man. I might mop floors for a living, but I still had an engineer's brain, and that brain had been very busy during those late night hours. The next 3 days were the loneliest of my life. I called Michael first, straight to voicemail. Hey son, just checking in, hope you're having a good Christmas. No call back. I tried Sarah 2 hours later, same result. Hi honey, miss you, give me a call when you can. Silence. David's phone went straight to voicemail too. Hey buddy, wanted to hear your voice. Love you. Nothing. By December 28th, I realized what was happening. They weren't just avoiding me for the holidays. They were testing something. Testing whether they could cut me out completely. I started checking social media. Big mistake. Sarah's Instagram told the whole story. Picture after picture of Swiss mountain views, luxury hotel lobbies, champagne glasses at altitude. The 3 of them skiing, dining, laughing, living their best life without their father. But it was the captions that cut deepest. Finally getting the family vacation we've always deserved. Sometimes you just need to treat yourself. #blessed, #Switzerland, #living my best life. Family vacation. The 3 of them. Michael's LinkedIn was worse. Taking some well-earned time off in beautiful St. Moritz with my siblings, grateful for this opportunity to recharge and reconnect. Recharge and reconnect, without the man who raised them. I screenshot everything, not for evidence, for clarity, because I needed to understand exactly where I stood in their lives. The answer was becoming crystal clear. I was the embarrassing chapter they wanted to close. That night I did the math on their Swiss adventure. Cullum Hotel, $800 per night, times 7 nights, times 3 rooms, $16,800 for lodging, first-class flights, $4,200 each, times 3 people, $12,600 for transportation, meals, activities, shopping, conservative estimate, $5,000 more. Total trip cost, approximately $34,400. My annual salary, $28,800. They'd spent more on 1 week of vacation than I earned in an entire year. But that wasn't the devastating part. The devastating part was the planning. This wasn't spontaneous. Resort bookings require deposits months in advance. Flight reservations for Christmas travel get made in October. They'd been planning to exclude me since autumn. While I was saving money for their Christmas gifts, they were coordinating their Christmas escape. The presents under my tree suddenly looked pathetic. Michael's watch, $49 on sale. Sarah's jewelry box, $36 from Walmart. David's medical textbook, $68 used on Amazon, $153 total, compared to their $34,000 gesture of rejection. I had 2 choices: accept this new reality quietly, let them return from Switzerland, and pretend nothing had changed. Keep being the shameful father they occasionally tolerated. Or I could remind them that the man they'd written off still had some surprises left. The second option was risky. It meant potentially burning bridges forever. It meant acknowledging that my relationship with my children might already be over. But staying silent meant accepting a life of dignified irrelevance, becoming the father they called on birthdays and holidays out of obligation, not love. I thought about Linda, their mother, who'd walked away when things got difficult. Maybe that's where they learned that family was disposable when it became inconvenient. The difference was Linda had never invested 25 years in their futures. I had, and that investment was about to pay dividends they never saw coming. December 29th, I made my decision. I opened my laptop and started making some calls. It was time my successful children learned something about their unsuccessful father, something that would change everything. December 30th, I stopped being polite. I called Michael at 9 a.m. Swiss time, 3 p.m. their time, prime skiing hours. He actually answered, "Dad, kind of busy right now." "I know where you are, Michael." Long pause. "What do you mean?" "Switzerland? St. Moritz? The Kulm Hotel? Should I continue?" His voice shifted, defensive now. "How did you, Your sister left the booking confirmation on her old desk. $16,800 for 7 nights. Nice touch." "Dad, look, it's complicated." "No, son, it's simple. You planned a family vacation and didn't include family. You wouldn't have been comfortable. Try me." "Dad, this is a work thing. Networking. Industry people, you know?" "I know you're lying to me." "I'm not lying. Michael, I've been watching you lie since you were 6 years old. You get the same little crack in your voice." Silence. "We can afford this because we work hard," he said finally. "I work hard too." "That's not the same thing." There it was, the truth, naked and ugly. "Explain that to me, son." "Dad, you clean bathrooms. I manage multi-million-dollar portfolios. There's a difference." "Is there?" "Yes, there is." "And what difference is that?" "Look, I don't want to hurt your feelings. Too late. But when I bring colleagues around, when Sarah brings her husband's friends, when David introduces us to other med students, your job makes things awkward." "Awkward how?" "Dad, you're a janitor." I let that hang in the air for 10 seconds. "Your point?" "My point is that success has social requirements. Image matters. Perception matters. And I hurt your image. You complicate it." "I see. So this trip is about us enjoying our success without having to explain or defend or make excuses. Make excuses for me. Make excuses for the situation." "Say it, Michael." "Dad, say it. I make you ashamed." Long pause. Voices in the background. Laughter. Swiss mountain air freedom. "I'm sorry you feel that way," he said finally. "That's not an answer. It's the only answer I've got right now." "Then let me ask you something else. How much did your education cost?" "Dad, that's not relevant." $68,000. Ohio State business program. Every penny from my janitorial paychecks. "I appreciate Sarah's Northwestern journalism degree. 58,000. Also from bathroom cleaning money. You don't need to. David's undergraduate pre-med. 73,000. Paid for by your embarrassing father's embarrassing job." "Dad, we're grateful." "Are you? Because grateful children don't abandon their parents on Christmas. We didn't abandon, what would you call it? We took a vacation. Without telling me. It was last minute." "Michael, you booked this in October." Another pause. Busted. "Sarah made the arrangements." "So this was Sarah's idea?" "It was collective. All 3 of you decided I was too embarrassing for your Swiss vacation." "Dad, you're twisting this." "Am I? Then invite me right now." "What?" "Invite me to Switzerland. Tonight. I'll book a flight." "Dad, that's not..." "The rooms are booked. The itinerary is set. There's no room for your father. There's no room for complications. I'm a complication. You're making this harder than it needs to be." "How hard should finding out your children are ashamed of you be?" "We're not ashamed. We're just what?" "We're trying to build something. And I'm not part of that something. Dad, you'll always be our father, but not part of your lives." "That's not fair." "Fair? Michael, I haven't seen my children on Christmas in 25 years until this one. The one year I could finally afford to make it special, you disappear." "We'll make it up to you." "How?" "We'll plan something. Family dinner, maybe next month." "Maybe. Probably. Definitely. At a restaurant where your friends won't see you with the janitor?" "Dad, stop." "Michael, let me ask you one more question." "Okay. Do you think I'm stupid?" "What? No, of course not." "Do you think I'm lazy?" "No, Dad." "Do you think I lack ambition?" I No. Then why do you think I'm still cleaning bathrooms? Long pause. I could hear him thinking. I don't know. That's the first honest thing you've said. Dad, enjoy your vacation, son. We'll talk when you get home. I hung up. 2 minutes later, Sarah called back. Dad, Michael told me you're upset. Are you ashamed of me, Sarah? Dad, no. Yes or no. It's complicated. Yes or no. Sometimes it's hard to explain the situation. What situation? Your career situation. My job. Your job, yes. You're ashamed of my job. We're proud of who you are as a person, but not what I do for a living. Dad, image matters in our fields. I hung up. David called 5 minutes later. Dad, please don't be angry. Are you embarrassed by your father? I love you, Dad. That's not what I asked. I love you, but sometimes I wish things were different. Different how? I wish your job was... Say it, David. I wish your job was something I could talk about. You can talk about it. Not without feeling sorry for you. And there it was. All 3 of my children pitied me. I hung up and turned off my phone. The truth was finally on the table. My successful children saw me as a failure who embarrassed them socially, but they had no idea what their embarrassing father had actually been doing during those long, quiet nights. Time to educate them. What my children didn't know was that cleaning offices at midnight gave me something priceless: uninterrupted time to think, and access to computers. For 14 years, I'd had the keys to Riverside Business Center. 30 floors of corporate offices. Every night, I'd cleaned 50 executive suites, filled with abandoned workstations, still logged into trading platforms, financial software, market analysis tools. I wasn't supposed to touch the computers, but who would know? After finishing my janitorial rounds, I'd spend 3 hours reading. Bloomberg terminals left open. Financial reports scattered on desks. Investment portfolios displayed on monitors. I was getting a PhD in finance, courtesy of other people's workspaces. By 2019, I understood something my engineer brain had always suspected. The stock market wasn't magic. It was patterns, mathematical relationships, risk calculations. The same logical thinking that designed automotive systems could analyze market trends. I started small, $50 from each paycheck into a trading app on my phone. Strictly blue chip stocks, conservative plays, nothing risky. The first year, I made 12% returns. Not spectacular, but better than savings accounts. Year 2, I discovered cryptocurrency. Most people saw Bitcoin as gambling. I saw it as early adoption technology, like the internet in 1995. Blockchain was infrastructure. Infrastructure creates long-term value. I researched for 6 months before investing a single dollar. Then I put in $500. 6 months later, that $500 was worth $2,000. I didn't tell my children. Why would I? They were busy building their careers, dating, graduating. My little investment hobby seemed irrelevant, but irrelevant turned into interesting when my $2,000 became $8,000. Interesting became serious when $8,000 became $25,000. By 2021, I had rules. Never risk more than I could afford to lose. Diversify across multiple cryptocurrencies. Take profits regularly. Reinvest systematically. I also had something else. Margaret Foster. Margaret was 72, a former Wall Street advisor who'd retired to Ohio in 2018. She attended the same evening personal finance seminars I'd started taking at the community college. After one session, she approached me. Charles, you asked better questions tonight than most fund managers I've worked with. We started meeting monthly at Denny's. She'd review my portfolio, suggest adjustments, share market insights from 40 years of professional experience. You have natural instincts, she told me in early 2022. Most people trade emotionally. You trade logically. Margaret became my unofficial mentor. More importantly, she helped me understand tax strategies, portfolio balancing, risk management techniques I'd never learned from YouTube videos. By 2023, my cryptocurrency investments had grown to something unbelievable. My children thought their janitor father was financially illiterate. In reality, I was outperforming most professional investment advisors, but I kept quiet, partly from caution, partly from curiosity. I wanted to see how my successful children treated their unsuccessful father before they knew the truth. The test results were now complete. 3 days into their Swiss vacation, I called Margaret. "It's time," I told her. "Are you sure? Once you reveal this, you can't put it back in the box." "They've already put me in a box, Margaret. A very small, shameful box." "What do you want to do?" "I want them to understand who they're really dealing with." "Charles, your portfolio has grown significantly since our last review. Are you prepared for the number?" "What number?" "As of this morning's market close, your cryptocurrency and stock holdings are worth $2,843,622. I sat down hard. That's impossible. Bitcoin hit 47,000 yesterday. Ethereum crossed 3,000. Your tech stock picks have averaged 26% annual returns. Charles, you're not just financially secure, you're wealthy. $2.8 million. My children had spent $34,000 on a vacation to avoid their embarrassing father. Their embarrassing father was worth 83 times that amount. "Margaret, I need your help with something. Anything. I need to make a statement. Something public. Something they can't ignore or explain away." "What kind of statement?" "The kind that changes everything. I think I know exactly what you need." Margaret Foster was about to earn her consulting fee. New Year's Eve morning brought the final insult. I woke up to my phone buzzing with notifications. Social media tags, comments, screenshots being shared. Sarah had posted a group photo from their final night in St. Moritz. All three of them, champagne glasses raised, designer ski clothes, massive smiles. The caption read, "Best family vacation ever. Sometimes you need to disconnect from negativity and surround yourself with success. Grateful for my incredible siblings and this amazing experience. Family first, blessed, new beginnings, living my best life." Family first, while excluding their father. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the comments section. Dozens of likes and comments from their friends, colleagues, romantic partners. "You guys look amazing. So jealous of this trip. Family goals. What, living the dream?" And then I saw something that made my blood freeze. Sarah's husband Jake had commented, "Finally got a vacation without any drama or complications. You three deserve this." Drama and complications. That was me. But Jake's comment had replies. Michael had responded, "Exactly what we needed. Just the core family." Core family. 3 people, not 4. Sarah had replied with laughing emojis. "So nice to just focus on us for once." Focus on us. Without distractions. Without their father. David had added, "Best decision we ever made. We should do this every year." Every year. An annual tradition of excluding me. I screenshot everything, the post, the comments, the replies, the casual cruelty of their public celebration of my absence. But the humiliation was just beginning. By noon, Sarah had posted an Instagram story, a video of them packing their luxury hotel room, talking about their perfect family week. "We've had such an amazing time together," she said to the camera. "Just the 3 of us. No stress, no awkwardness, no having to explain anything to anybody. Pure family bonding. No awkwardness, no explanations. No me." Michael appeared in the video. "This is how family vacations should be. Just the people who actually get along." David laughed in the background. Mom and Dad would have complicated things. Mom and Dad. Past tense. Like we were both dead. "Well, Dad anyway," Sarah corrected. "Mom's been gone forever." They were rewriting family history, erasing me from their narrative. That afternoon brought LinkedIn posts from all 3 of them. Michael, "Incredible week in Switzerland with my siblings. Sometimes the best networking happens with the people who know you best. Family is everything." Sarah, "Just returned from an amazing family retreat in St. Moritz. Quality time with quality people. Feeling grateful and refocused for the new year." David, "Best week of my medical residency break. Family time in beautiful Switzerland. Recharged and ready for new challenges. Professional networks, colleagues, medical school friends, investment banking connections, marketing industry contacts. All of them now knew that Michael, Sarah, and David Reynolds had taken a family vacation that deliberately excluded their father. My phone started ringing. Neighbors who followed them on social media, family friends who'd seen the posts. "Charles, I saw the kids are in Switzerland. How come you didn't go?" Was this a surprise gift from them? Must be nice to have such successful children. Each call was a fresh humiliation, explaining that my children had planned and executed a family vacation without telling me felt impossible. So I stopped explaining. I just said, "work commitments," and changed the subject. But the neighbors knew. The family friends knew. My community knew that Charles Reynolds had been left behind by his successful children. That evening, the final blow landed. Sarah posted a Facebook album, 47 photos from their week, hotel lobbies, mountain views, expensive restaurants, skiing lessons, shopping trips, every photo carefully curated to show their perfect family celebration. The album title, Reynolds Family Swiss Adventure 2024, Best Week Ever. Reynolds Family, 3 people. I scrolled through every photo, looking for any mention of me, any acknowledgement that they had a father who'd raised them alone for 25 years. Nothing. I was a non-person in their success story, but the comment section told a different story. Friends and extended family were asking the obvious questions. Where's Charles? How come Dad didn't come? Is everything okay with your father? Sarah's responses were masterpieces of diplomatic cruelty. Dad's doing his own thing this year, and he prefers staying home during holidays. You know how he is about traveling. Lies. Smooth practice lies that made me sound antisocial instead of abandoned. Michael jumped in to help. Dad's very independent. He encouraged us to take this trip. David added, he insisted we go without him. Very selfless. They were rewriting history in real time, turning their abandonment into my choice, making their cruelty look like my preference. The comments kept coming. That's so sweet that he wanted you to enjoy yourselves. What a supportive father. Charles sounds like such a generous dad. My children had publicly humiliated me and made it look like generosity. I sat in my kitchen reading comment after comment praising me for supporting a vacation I'd been excluded from. The irony was suffocating, but as I scrolled through their perfect photos, their careful captions, their strategic comments, something clicked. My children had just created a comprehensive public record of their values, their priorities, their true feelings about family. They documented their shame about me across multiple social media platforms, visible to hundreds of their friends, colleagues, and professional contacts. They'd made their choice public, which meant my response could be public too. I picked up my phone and called Margaret Foster. Margaret, I need to ask you something important. Go ahead. If someone had publicly humiliated you, abandoned you, lied about you to mutual friends and family, what would be an appropriate response? Charles, what happened? I read her the social media posts, the comments, the deliberate exclusion narrative they'd crafted. They've essentially announced to the world that I'm an embarrassment they needed a vacation from. I see. So my question is, would it be inappropriate to announce to that same world exactly who they're dealing with? Margaret was quiet for a long moment. Charles, you've spent 5 years building wealth in private. You've been humble, discreet, respectful of their feelings, even when they weren't respecting yours. Yes, but they've now made the situation public. They've involved your community, your friends, your reputation. They have. In my professional opinion, a public misrepresentation deserves a public correction. Meaning? Meaning it's time for your children to learn that the father they publicly dismissed has some surprises they never saw coming. What do you suggest? I suggest we make tomorrow very interesting for the Reynolds family. Margaret Foster was about to earn her reputation as a financial advisor who didn't mess around. New Year's Day arrived with a phone call that would change everything. Charles, are you ready? Margaret Foster's voice was crisp, professional. I think so. I've prepared the documentation. Bank statements, portfolio summaries, investment timeline, performance metrics. Everything you'll need. And the other thing? The charitable foundation paperwork is ready. $1 million initial donation. The Reynolds Family Education Fund. Ironic name, considering the circumstances. I smiled for the first time in a week. Margaret, walk me through the numbers one more time. As of market, close yesterday, December 31st, 2024. Your cryptocurrency portfolio shows Bitcoin holdings worth 1,200,000, Ethereum worth 800,000, various altcoins worth 300,000, total crypto 2.3 million. I was writing this down, though I knew the numbers by heart. Stock portfolio. Your tech picks average 28% annual returns. Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, Nvidia positions now worth 400,000. Index funds worth 200,000. Total traditional investments 600,000. Total portfolio value $2,900,000 as of yesterday's close. Almost $3 million. From a janitor's careful investments. Charles, I need to ask you something. Go ahead. Are you absolutely certain you want to do this? Once this information becomes public, your relationship with your children will never be the same. Margaret, my relationship with my children ended when they abandoned me on Christmas. I'm just making that official. Understood. One more thing. I've prepared a press release for the local business journal. Local investor establishes $1 million education fund. They're interested in the story. The story? Single father working multiple jobs, builds cryptocurrency fortune through disciplined investing, establishes charitable foundation to help other single parents afford college education. It's exactly the kind of feel-good story they love. And it goes public when? Tomorrow morning, January 2nd, the same day your children return from Switzerland. Perfect timing. Margaret, I need you to help me with something else. Anything. I want to invite my children to a family meeting. Tonight, 7 p.m. I want them to see the portfolio firsthand. Are you planning to confront them directly? I'm planning to educate them. 2 hours later, I sent identical text messages to all 3 children. Family meeting tonight, 7 p.m., my house. Important financial matter to discuss. Non-negotiable attendance. Dad. Michael responded first. Dad, we just got back from traveling. Can this wait? No. Sarah. What kind of financial matter? You'll see. David. Is everything okay? Are you in trouble? I'm fine. Be here at 7. I spent the afternoon preparing. Margaret arrived at 6:30 with a leather portfolio containing bank statements, investment summaries, performance reports, and legal documents. Charles, remember what we discussed. Stay calm. Present facts. Let the numbers speak. I'll stay calm. And remember, this isn't about revenge. This is about setting the record straight. I understand. At exactly 7 p.m., 3 cars pulled into my driveway. Michael's BMW, Sarah's Lexus, David's Honda Accord. They walked in looking like they were attending a funeral. Dad, what's this about? Michael asked immediately. Sit down, all of you. They arranged themselves on my old couch like defendants waiting for sentencing. I want to discuss your Swiss vacation. Dad, we explained, Sarah started. You explained that you're ashamed of me, that I'm an embarrassment to your professional lives, that family vacations are better without complications. Uncomfortable glances between them. That's not exactly, David began. Let me ask you something. What do you think I've been doing for the past 5 years? During those long night shifts, you find so embarrassing? Working, Michael said carefully. Cleaning bathrooms, Sarah added. Providing for yourself, David finished. Anything else? Blank stares. I opened Margaret's portfolio and pulled out the first document, bank statement from my primary checking account. This is my Bank of America statement from December 31st. I handed it to Michael. His face went white. Dad, this says you have $47,000 in checking. That's my emergency fund. 3 months of expenses. Sarah grabbed the statement. How do you have $47,000? Keep reading. I handed them the second document, my savings account statement. David looked at it and started laughing. Dad, this is impossible. This says you have $83,000 in savings. That's accurate. How? Sarah demanded. I live on $28,000 a year. I save everything else. Everything else from what? Michael asked. I handed them document 3. My investment portfolio summary. Complete silence. Michael read it twice. This can't be real. It's real. Sarah stared at the numbers. Dad, this says you have almost $3 million. 2,900,000 as of yesterday's market close. David was shaking his head. This is impossible. You're a janitor. I'm an investor who works as a janitor. Since when? Michael demanded. Since 2019. 5 years of disciplined cryptocurrency and stock investments. That's impossible, Sarah repeated. You don't know anything about investing. I handed them document 4, my trading history with detailed performance metrics. Average annual returns, 34%, better than most hedge funds. Michael was studying the trading records. Dad, these are sophisticated plays, technical analysis, market timing, options strategies. I've been studying. Where? How? Night shift gives me access to a lot of abandoned computers, Bloomberg terminals, financial software. I got a very expensive education for free. Sarah was looking through bank statements going back 5 years. Dad, you've been sending us money, Christmas gifts, birthday presents, emergency loans when David needed help with medical school applications. I have. While sitting on millions of dollars? I was testing something. Testing what? Testing whether your love for me was conditional on my financial status. The room went very quiet. The results, I continued, were illuminating. David spoke first. Dad, we had no idea. Of course not. You never asked about my life. You assumed that because I mop floors, I must be stupid. We never said you were stupid, Michael protested. You said I was an embarrassment, a complication, someone you needed vacations from. Dad, if we had known, Sarah started, if you had known what? That I was wealthy? Would that have changed how you treated me? They exchanged glances. Be honest, I pressed. Would you have taken me to Switzerland if you'd known about the money? Long pause. Probably, Michael said finally. Probably? Yes, definitely. So your love for me depends on my net worth. That's not fair, Sarah protested. Isn't it? You were ashamed of your janitor father. Would you be ashamed of your millionaire father? No one answered. I handed them the final document. Legal papers establishing the Reynolds Family Education Fund. What's this? David asked. A charitable foundation I'm starting. $1 million to help single parents afford college education. Dad, that's incredible, Sarah said. The press release goes out tomorrow morning. Local business journal. Janitor builds $1 million fortune, establishes education fund. Their faces went pale again. Press release? Michael asked. Full story. Single father works night shift for 14 years, builds cryptocurrency fortune, donates $1 million to charity. Very inspiring. Dad, our friends, our colleagues, Sarah began, will learn that the father you were ashamed of is more successful than any of you. That's not why you're doing this, David said quietly. Isn't it? You're doing this because we hurt you. I'm doing this because you publicly humiliated me, so I'm publicly correcting the record. Margaret Foster chose that moment to knock on the door. That would be my financial advisor. Margaret, come in, meet my children. Margaret entered like she owned the room. Michael, Sarah, David, I've heard so much about you. You have? Sarah asked weakly. Oh, yes. Charles talks about you constantly, how proud he is, how hard he worked to put you through college, how he hoped you'd be proud of him in return. The children looked like they wanted to disappear. Margaret handles my investments, I explained. Former Wall Street advisor, 40 years experience. She's helped me build quite a portfolio. Your father, Margaret said, is one of the most disciplined investors I've ever worked with. Natural instincts, excellent risk management. He's outperformed the S&P 500 by 12 percentage points annually. We had no idea, Michael said faintly. Of course not, Margaret replied. Charles is very modest about his success, unlike some people. The reference to their social media boasting was unmistakable. Well, I said, now you know. Your embarrassing janitor father is financially independent. Your shameful old man is worth more than your combined annual salaries times 20. Dad, Sarah started, the question now is, what are you going to do with this information? They had no answer, because for the first time in their adult lives, they were dealing with a father who held all the cards. The next morning brought exactly the chaos I'd expected. My phone started ringing at 6 a.m. Local news stations, the Business Journal wanting follow-up quotes, financial bloggers asking for interviews. The story was spreading fast. Ohio janitor's secret, cryptocurrency fortune funds education charity. By 8 a.m., it had hit social media. The local news Facebook page shared the story with a photo Margaret had provided. Me at my modest kitchen table, portfolio statements spread out, looking like the humble millionaire next door. The comments section was exactly what I'd hoped for. This man is a genius. Who says janitors can't be successful investors? What an inspiring story. His kids must be so proud. His kids must be so proud. At 8:47 a.m., my phone exploded with incoming calls. Michael first. Dad, what the hell did you do? I corrected some misinformation. You went to the press about private family finances? I went to the press about my charitable foundation. My finances stopped being private when you made them public talking points for your Swiss vacation. Sarah called 30 seconds later. Dad, my colleagues are sending me the article. My boss wants to know why I never mentioned my father was a cryptocurrency millionaire. What are you telling them? I don't know what to tell them. Try the truth. Tell them you were so ashamed of my job that you excluded me from family events. I can't say that. Then figure out what you can say. David called from the hospital. Dad, the attending physicians are asking about the article. They want to know about your investment strategy. And I have to admit, I know nothing about your investment strategy because I never bothered to ask about your life. That sounds like a personal problem. By noon, the story had reached their professional networks. Michael's investment banking colleagues were sharing the article on LinkedIn. Sarah's marketing firm was buzzing about her secret millionaire father. David's medical school friends were asking why he'd never mentioned his dad's financial success. The social media reversal was swift and brutal. The same friends who'd liked their Switzerland posts were now commenting on the news article. Wait, isn't this Sarah's dad? Michael, your father is amazing. David, why didn't you tell us your dad was a financial genius? Their Swiss vacation posts suddenly looked different in context. 3 successful children, excluding their millionaire father from a family trip, wasn't inspirational anymore. It looked cruel. The comments sections turned harsh. How do you abandon a father like this for Christmas? These kids should be ashamed. What kind of children exclude their parent from family vacations? Success without gratitude is just selfishness. Margaret called at 2 p.m. Charles, you need to see this. What now? Channel 8 wants to do a feature story. From night shifts to stock picks, local father's investment journey. They want to film at your house tonight. Tonight? 7 p.m., same time as yesterday's family meeting. Poetic justice. Are they mentioning the children? They're asking why your successful children weren't involved in the foundation announcement. I told them you'd prefer to focus on the charity work. Smart. But Charles, they're also asking about your family situation. The reporter did her homework. She knows about the Switzerland trip. She knows about the social media posts. What does she want to know? She wants to know how it feels to be excluded from family events by children who didn't know about your success. Perfect. At 6:45 p.m., the Channel 8 news van pulled into my driveway. At 6:47 p.m., 3 familiar cars followed it. Michael, Sarah, and David had arrived to watch their father's television interview. The reporter, Jennifer Walsh, was professional but direct. Mr. Reynolds, you've built an impressive investment portfolio while working as a janitor. What inspired this journey? I wanted to provide for my children's future. Even after they graduated, I kept investing. I thought financial security might let me be part of their lives longer. Your children are quite successful in their own careers. They are. I'm very proud of them. Were they aware of your investment activities? No, they assumed that because I cleaned buildings, I couldn't understand finance. How did that make you feel? It made me want to prove that intelligence isn't measured by job titles. I understand they recently took a family vacation without you. Here it was, the moment of truth. They did. Switzerland. They felt I would be uncomfortable in their social circles. Because of your job. Because of their perception of my job. How did you learn about this vacation? Social media. They documented it extensively. Very beautiful pictures. How did it feel to see those posts? I paused, looking directly into the camera. It felt like my children had decided I was no longer part of their family story. And how does it feel now, with your financial success public? It feels like they might reconsider that decision for the wrong reasons. Meaning, if they're proud of me now because of my money, they were never really proud of me at all. The interview continued for 20 minutes. Financial strategies, investment philosophy, the charitable foundation goals. But the emotional core was clear. Successful children had abandoned their father based on class prejudice, only to discover their father was more successful than they were. When filming wrapped, Jennifer Walsh approached my children. Would any of you like to comment on your father's story? They stood there like deer in headlights. We're very proud, Michael said finally. You must be excited about the charitable foundation. Very excited, Sarah added. Were you surprised by the news of your father's investment success? Long pause. We knew he was smart, David said carefully, but not that he was building wealth. He's always been modest about his achievements. Diplomatic answers, professional responses, nothing that would make them look worse than they already did. But Jennifer Walsh wasn't done. One final question. Will you be including your father in future family vacations? The three of them exchanged glances. Absolutely, Michael said. Definitely, Sarah agreed. Always, David confirmed. Even if his portfolio loses value? Brutal question, brilliant reporter. Of course, they said in unison, but the hesitation before they answered told a different story. The interview would air at 11 p.m. By midnight, everyone in town would know the full story. The janitor had become the millionaire. The embarrassment had become the success story, and the children who'd abandoned him for Switzerland would have some explaining to do. The next week brought consequences I hadn't anticipated. The news story went viral locally, then regionally, then nationally. Janitor's secret cryptocurrency fortune became a feel-good story that financial blogs, investment podcasts, and social media influencers picked up and amplified. Margaret called Tuesday morning with updates. Charles, you're getting interview requests from Forbes, CNBC, and the Wall Street Journal. About the investments? About the investments? About single parenting? About the education foundation? But mostly about how your children treated you. The human interest angle was irresistible. Hard-working father builds fortune in secret, while ungrateful children exclude him from family events. It was a story that touched every parent who'd ever felt unappreciated. The social media response was swift and unforgiving. Someone had done the detective work, finding Michael, Sarah, and David's Switzerland posts and comparing them to the timeline of my story. Screenshots circulated showing their family vacation celebration while their millionaire father spent Christmas alone. The comments were brutal. These kids are disgusting. How do you abandon a father like this? Success without character is worthless. They'll come crawling back now that they know about the money. Michael's LinkedIn profile became a target. Investment banking colleagues were sharing the article with comments like, "Interesting family dynamics, Michael," and "Must be awkward at your house right now." Sarah's marketing firm received emails asking whether their executive team promoted family values since one of their employees had publicly abandoned their charitable millionaire father. David faced the worst consequences. Medical residency programs value character and ethical behavior. Having the internet discuss your treatment of your sacrificing parent wasn't ideal for professional development. Wednesday brought the first apology attempt. All three showed up at my house unannounced, bearing gifts they'd clearly purchased in panic. "Dad, we need to talk," Michael said. "About what?" "About everything. About Switzerland. About the way we treated you." "About the money," Sarah added, then immediately looked like she regretted the honesty. "What about the money?" "We had no idea you were building wealth," David said. If we had known, you would have treated me differently. We would have understood your situation better. My situation? Your financial situation, Michael clarified. So you're saying your respect for me is based on my net worth? No, that's not, because that's what it sounds like. You were ashamed when you thought I was poor. You're interested now that you know I'm wealthy. Dad, we were never ashamed, Sarah lied. Sarah, you posted on Instagram that you needed a vacation from negativity and complications. I screenshotted it. She went pale. We said things we didn't mean, David tried. You meant them. You meant them enough to plan and execute a family vacation that deliberately excluded me. We made mistakes, Michael admitted. You made choices. Conscious, calculated choices. So what happens now? Sarah asked. Now you live with the consequences. What consequences? I handed them each a copy of my revised will. What's this? David asked. My estate planning, updated yesterday. They read in silence. The color drained from their faces. Dad, this leaves everything to the charitable foundation. Correct. Nothing to us? Nothing. Dad, you can't be serious, Michael said. I'm completely serious. You've made it clear that our relationship is transactional. You value me based on how I enhance your social status. That's not true, Sarah protested. Prove it. How? Accept this inheritance decision gracefully. Show me you love me for who I am, not what I'm worth. Long silence. Dad, this is extreme, David said finally. Is it? You excluded me from your lives when you thought I was poor. Now you want back in because I'm wealthy. That's extreme. We want to make things right, Michael said. How? We can spend more time together, include you in our lives. Because of the money. Not because of the money. Then prove it. Accept the inheritance decision and continue building our relationship anyway. They looked at each other helplessly. Dad, that's not fair, Sarah said. Fair? You abandoned me on Christmas and lied to our community about it. What's fair about that? We apologized. You apologized after learning about the money. Where was the apology when you thought I was just an embarrassing janitor? No answer. Here's what's going to happen, I continued. You're going to return to your lives. You're going to think about what kind of relationship you want with me, and you're going to decide whether you love your father or his bank account. And then we'll see what kind of people my children really are. They left without another word. Thursday's mail brought something interesting. 3 handwritten letters, real stationery, careful penmanship. Each one asked for forgiveness. Each one claimed the money didn't matter. Each one promised to do better, but none of them mentioned returning the inheritance, which told me everything I needed to know about their priorities. 6 months later, the dust had finally settled. The charitable foundation was thriving. We'd awarded scholarships to 47 single parents pursuing college degrees. My story continued inspiring working-class families to invest systematically, start small, think long-term. Margaret and I had become genuine friends. She helped me manage media requests, speaking opportunities, and foundation operations. At 72, she was busier than ever and loving every minute. My children and I had found a new equilibrium. We met monthly for dinner, always at my house, always my cooking. The conversation was careful, respectful, slightly distant. They'd learned to ask about my investments, my charitable work, my media appearances. I'd learned to ask about their careers, their relationships, their futures. It felt like friendship more than family, which was probably honest. Michael had been promoted to vice president at his firm. Sarah's marketing campaign won a national award. David completed his residency and started practicing emergency medicine. They were all successful. They were all accomplished. They were all still slightly embarrassed by the viral story of their Christmas abandonment. But they'd learned something important. Success without character is temporary. Status without substance is fragile. Money without values is meaningless. I kept the revised will, not out of spite, but out of clarity. My children loved me now, but their love came with conditions. They'd proven that their respect depended on external circumstances. The charitable foundation would outlive me and help thousands of families. That felt like a better legacy than subsidizing the comfortable lives of children who'd already demonstrated their priorities. Did I forgive them? Yes. Do I trust them? That's complicated. But I learned something too. You can love people without needing their approval. You can be proud of your children without requiring their pride in return. The janitor became a millionaire. The embarrassment became the success story. The abandoned father became the man who set boundaries and kept them. Sometimes the people who underestimate you give you the greatest gift of all, the motivation to prove them wrong. And sometimes proving them wrong isn't about revenge. It's about self-respect. My name is Charles Reynolds. I raised 3 successful children who taught me that family is what you make it, not what you're born into. If this story resonates with you, I'd love to hear about your own experiences with family boundaries and self-worth. Leave a comment below and let me know where you're watching from, because everybody deserves to know their true value.